Hey guys, I'm Phil in the Blanks. Welcome to another NPC. So, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is finally out. I've been playing it a whole lot, and I gotta say, it is living up to its name. It's pretty damn ultimate. It's sort of crazy how much there is to this game. 103 levels so far, not counting the upcoming DLC. 74 characters out of the box. With Piranha Plant on his way, and then like 5 extra characters, one of which will be Joker from Persona. It's insane to know that there'll be 80 characters by the time this game is done. That's, you know, if they don't do a season 2 to the DLC, which really makes me think, how will they even make another Smash Brothers game? It's hard to believe how many characters and whatnot are in this. Can they really make another Smash Brothers game without really changing what Smash Brothers is? Maybe not completely change its mechanics or anything, but really make a lot of changes. And one of the things that, in my opinion, is probably going to change is the roster size. I don't think it's going to get bigger than what Ultimate's going to be. It's sort of ludicrous. It gets to a point where it's like each character won't even matter to a certain degree. So, as awful as it was back when Brawl was coming out, when we learned that there were cuts to the roster, and then when Wii U came out, there were some more cuts to the roster, and some characters came back as DLC. I'm sorry, the next Smash Bros. Is probably going to have plenty of cuts in its roster, and that's what these few episodes are going to be, and that's seeing who deserves to stay in Smash Bros. And who kinda should probably get cut. So I'm going to look at every single playable character in Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I'm going to make a decision on whether or not I would cut or keep that character if, let's say, I was in charge of the next Smash Brothers, which hopefully won't happen. I would screw that up. Probably pretty bad. Each episode is going to focus on the fighters from a different Smash Brothers game, so this episode will focus on the N64 Super Smash Brothers game released in 1999. Next episode will be Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube, and so on. So that way the episodes don't get crazy long, because again, there's 74 playable characters, so that's a little crazy. What's the criteria for keeping on the roster or getting cut? There's no hard, fast rules in my opinion. It really just depends on what I feel like at that moment. In my opinion, a person who should be in Smash Brothers is someone who's not just a popular character, but truly means something to video gaming. It also might be something along the lines of how that character plays in the game. I'm not doing things like, I'm just going to use an example. Just because Ice Climbers was super popular and it was nice to see him come back because he was really well known for the competitive scene, that to me won't really factor in. Just because a character is really like top tier or is played a lot by professional players or anything, that's not going to really matter to me. I'm kind of going off on the whole, how iconic is this character? Does this character truly deserve to represent their series or whatever? So let's get down to it. To be honest, the Smash Bros. Game for the N64 will probably be the game where I cut the fewest amount of characters, because as the first Smash Bros., almost every single character on the roster was specifically picked to represent their series and was iconic. So these characters were clearly chosen out of all the Nintendo characters to represent Nintendo in the very first Nintendo crossover fighting game. So, fighter number 1, Super Mario. With Mario, it's very obvious. Obviously, we're going to keep him. He's Super Mario. That being said, being a veteran and being in every Smash Bros. Game since the first one, he desperately needs an overhaul. His supers are great with Super Jump Punch. He's got the cape, he's got Flood, and he's got the traditional Fireball. But that stuff's very old school. Like, Flood's from 2000, I think, 2 for Super Mario Sunshine. The cape's from friggin' Mario World. That's 91. And while I think the Fireball and Super Jump Punch are pretty good, I honestly think they could modernize Mario quite a bit. Like, how about maybe his up special be like the spin jump from Mario Galaxy, which would be kind of cool. I mean, it wouldn't get crazy amount of heights. I mean, you'd change it, so maybe you could. Or keep Super Jump Punch, but keep the whole jumping aspect of Mario in there, and then maybe he does damage on the way down, like he stomps? I don't know. Cappy would be really cool, and I think everyone's thought of that Cappy should be in Smash Brothers tied to Mario. Other than that, to be honest, like, I know that a lot of his fighting moves are based on Super Mario 64. His 2-punch and then kick, his slide kick, his grab, his backwards throw, that sort of thing. It's all from Mario 64. But Mario 64 was the newest Mario game when the N64 Smash Bros. Came out. So that's a little old school. It's kind of weird looking at Mario in Smash Bros. Because he doesn't act at all like Mario does. He's not super happy. He's surprisingly mean looking. And he's got all these, like, really, really athletic, like, attacks and kicks and stuff. And it's a little crazy. And I'm a little surprised that they still kind of go with those kicks and whatnot. I'm surprised it doesn't do, like dives instead of, like sweeping kicks and that sort of thing. Like, I actually think Luigi's a little bit more representative of Mario than Mario is with, you know, sillier moves and whatnot. Mario is strangely aggressive, and if I was to start over and make a new Smash Bros. Game from scratch, I would probably make Mario a lot happier, and his moveset to be just a little bit more, I don't know, like, how about a ground pound from Super Mario 64 and Mario Galaxy, like Odyssey? He's always had a ground pound, where's that? And if you wanted to go old school with Mario, why not have, like, parts of his, like, suits from Mario 3? Like, have the, like, Tanuki statue or something along those lines, even the sledgehammer suit or the blue shell suit from New Super Mario Brothers. I don't know. Like, you don't have to have those as items. Like, the raccoon suit doesn't have to be an item. It could be part of Mario's moveset. So, obviously keep Mario, but I would probably make a lot of changes to him. Number 2, Donkey Kong, another obvious keeper. Let's be honest, a lot of these characters are going to be keepers. There's only a couple characters from the N64 lineup that I'm going to cut. But yeah, Donkey Kong, no, he's an obvious keeper. Represents Donkey Kong Country. I think it's a little weird how little he represents the newer Donkey Kong games. I like how his Final Smash is representative of Jungle Beat and Donkey Kong Country Returns. And it's not like you can get him to whip out Rambi and Engard and whatever the hell that snake thing from Donkey Kong Country 2 is. Like, you can't get him to do that. So I guess it makes sense that a lot of Donkey Kong's moveset is pure physical power. His down special, where he, like, slams the ground. I just called it the banana slam, even though I'm pretty sure that's not the right thing. That's straight from his game. His movements are straight from his game. I wouldn't change too much of him, but I think there's probably ways you could update him. I mean, it'd be kind of funny if old school, if you whipped out a barrel and threw that, you know, like in Donkey Kong 1. That'd be kind of cool. Number 3, Link from Legend of Zelda. Out of all the veterans, Link is definitely the one that they've kept more modern. Obviously, he has a sword. He's right-handed now because he's Breath of the Wild Link. He's not left-handed anymore. His down special is his bombs, which you actually have to manually activate. You know, you set them off. They're not timed like they are in other Smash Bros. Games. The bow and arrow and the boomerang is kind of cool. Keep the bow. I wouldn't keep the boomerang. I don't know, I think you could do something better than just the boomerang. Maybe give him a little bit of, maybe not magic, but he's got other abilities. Like, it'd be cool to see him do, like, the fire rod from Breath of the Wild. I'm assuming that adult Link is going to be representative of the 3D adult Link Legend of Zelda games. So it makes sense to me that Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and Breath of the Wild are kind of what this is based off of. They got rid of his, like, the way his animations were for his up and down aerials, which makes sense because they're not representative of Zelda 2 anymore like they were in Smash Bros. Melee and Brawl. So I kind of do enjoy that. It'd be cool if maybe he could have different weapons, because, like, he doesn't just use the Master Sword in Breath of the Wild, he uses a bunch of different weapons. But that might be changing him a little too much. I mean, I know that Link is known to be this guy with his arsenal, but it makes sense to have, like, his 4 main things be, like, a bomb, sword, bow and arrow, and I guess boomerang. I don't know. I feel like I'd change the boomerang if I could. I do like how they added his hang glider kind of thingy when he enters the fight. I'm glad they didn't make that his up B. I mean, you could make it Rivali's win, and that'd be kind of cool. Maybe, like, instead of the boomerang, he has, or like Daruk's, like, shield kind of thing would be kind of cool. Maybe Urbosa's, like, crazy lightning storm for his final smash. I don't know. The fact is, by the time the next Smash Bros. Comes out, there's gonna be a new Zelda game, so I think what they're doing with Link now, making him more modern with each game, is a right step. I think, to be honest, most characters should get this. Unless they're going for a specific game, let's say the way Ganondorf was redone to look like Ocarina of Time Ganondorf, and the way Zelda was remade to look like Link Between Worlds, Link to the Past Zelda, unless they're going for that specific old school game, they should modernize with the times as their games modernize as well, and Link's no exception. Obviously, keep him. Link is definitely a good candidate for Smash Brothers, obviously, so yeah, we're definitely gonna keep him. Number 4, Samus. From Metroid, keeper. Obviously, I love Metroid. I don't think Metroid gets nearly enough love, and hopefully we're going to learn about Metroid Prime 4 fairly soon. Samus is another character that I think has actually really done really well. Screw Attack, missiles and super missiles for a side special, Charge Beam, the Grapple Hook, did I say Screw Attack already? The Power Bombs. I think that's really cool, and I think they did a great job with her. If there's anything I could change, I don't know. Like, it'd be kind of cool to have her be able to maybe switch visors. Like, you wouldn't be able to see differently like you would in obviously Metroid Prime, but maybe that would change, like, attributes, kind of the way Shulk does with his, like, arts and whatnot. Little weird things like that, but to be honest, I think she's done already really well. I do think it's really weird that you don't kind of get to see different beams with her. She just has the Charge Beam. It'd be kind of cool to see the Wave Beam and maybe, I don't know, the Ice Beam. I mean, the Ice Beam is sort of the thing that allows you to beat most Metroid games, so it's kind of funny how you never really see it in Smash Brothers. I think maybe your final Smash shouldn't be that gigantic, like, arm cannon. It's very cool, but a lot of characters' final Smashes aren't really from their games, so it'd be kind of cool to see maybe, like, a crazy big-ass power bomb. She gets those in Metroid games, and they're enough to wipe out the entire screen of all enemies, so it'd be kind of cool to see something like that. Maybe that's a little too obvious, maybe it's a little too hard to avoid, maybe that's why they didn't do it, but to be honest, I think Samus is a great character that, until there's a new Metroid game, like Metroid Prime 4, there's not too much you can do with her to change her, because she hasn't really been upgraded in her own games. I mean, you could add her crazy Aeon powers from Return of Samus for the 3DS, but I don't know. I think she's done pretty well the way she is, but yeah, definitely keep her. Number 5, Yoshi. Yoshi's another keeper. Yoshi might be a character from Mario, and thus we already have a Mario character already, but he's spun off into his own series that's so popular, and it's great. To be honest, if I was to make any differences with Yoshi, I don't know, maybe make him the Woolly World version by default. There hasn't been a lot of Yoshi games lately, but the last 2 have been the Yoshi's Woolly World design, so maybe make that like the current thing. I think maybe you change Yoshi's up special, which is the egg throw, maybe to make it like a reticle kind of thing. Maybe you could aim it like for a split second. I don't know how feasible that is in such a fast game. Maybe you just keep it the way it is, but I think that'd be kind of cool. Other than that, Yoshi's done really well. The tongue swallow kind of move, the ground pound, like the butt slam kind of thing. Even Yoshi's second jump is the flutter jump from Yoshi's Island. It's sort of perfect. I really think they did a great job with Yoshi. I think it'd be kind of cool if maybe you could, I don't know, lick up items and maybe shoot them back like turtle shells in Mario World. I don't know. I don't really know much else you could do with Yoshi, because I think Yoshi works really well. It's one of the characters that I think has done really well and doesn't need to be crazily changed, so good job on that. Number 6, Kirby. Kirby is another character similar to Link that I think he gets updated a lot. He had a fireball for a dash, then he had the yo-yo thing, and now he's back to fireball. They change him just enough to keep him kind of interesting. His specials are, Final Cutter, Stone, Hammer, and swallowing enemies and using their powers, which obviously you got to keep for Kirby. That's the main thing. I like how they incorporate other powers from Kirby games in Kirby's regular attacks too. Like I said, the fireball, and it was as it once was the yo-yo ability. Even just his grabs are all based on like backdrop and the suplex from Kirby's Adventure and Superstar. And you even have the fighter's ability of the crazy like rush of little hits, that he does for his neutral attack. And that's really cool. Other ones I think you could probably do with the rest of his attacks. Kirby's a lot of kicks. Like his aerials are a lot of kicks, his everything else is kicks. And it'd be kind of cool to see something like maybe his back arrow could be him like all of a sudden having a wing and doing his like the feathers from the wing power. I don't know. I think Kirby has so many abilities from so many games that only using his abilities for specials is kind of lame. I think you could do a lot more. Like instead of His down aerial being that like drill kick he does. It'd be kind of cool if maybe that was the animal power, and he drills down with his like claws and stuff from Kirby's Squeak Squad. There's so many things to do with Kirby. I don't think he's necessarily as like needed of an overhaul the way Mario is, but I think you could do something more interesting with him. But yeah, keep Kirby, man. Kirby's freaking awesome. Number 7, Fox. Fox is a weird character in Smash Brothers, simply because other than Star Fox Adventure, you don't really see or control Fox outside of his R-Wing. You do kind of in Assault, on ground missions, and there's even a mode in Star Fox 64 where you can as well, but that's not the important parts. Fox, for a character who you don't really ever play as, is done really well in Smash Brothers, and obviously I think Star Fox is important enough to be represented in Smash, so definitely keep Fox. And I think what they've done with him is really good. Obviously, the blaster makes sense. He obviously would have military training in terms of hand-to-hand combat, so I think the way he fights is actually just fine. There's not too much you should change with him. I think Firefox and that weird, like, dash thing he does, his side special, is a little weird. I can't really think of anything else he could do. Like, they really had to, like, think of and make up stuff for him when they made Smash Bros. N64, because, like, again, at that point, Adventure hadn't come out, so he didn't have anything else other than just shooting things in his R-Wing. So Firefox and the other little dash move, they make sense. I think you could probably think of something better for Fox, though. But to be honest, I think they did a great job with a character that you don't control regularly. You could add like staff from Adventure, but I think that's kind of lame. If you're gonna do adventures, like Star Fox Adventure stuff, just add Crystal. So, you know, I've been saying this forever, just add Crystal. She just makes sense for a Star Fox representative. So, anyways, keep Fox. Keep his final smash the way it is, too. It was stupid having it with the Landmaster. I mean, it was stupider to have Falco with the Landmaster, but it's a little weird to have Fox have it. And his being now like an aerial assault with the R-Wings is great. I love Fox. For the most part, keep him the way he is. Moving on. Number 8, Pikachu. Pokemon is a game series which is a little weird because there's no such thing as a true main character for the series, if that makes any sense. You, the player, are just like a random kid with no personality or traits, and yet they still made a functional character out of that in Pokemon Trainer, in Brawl. But for the Pokemon themselves, none of them are like main characters. Lucario had his own movie, and other than that, there's Pikachu. Pikachu is the one Pokemon that literally everyone in the world knows, and for that alone, keep him. He's not just a star in a lot of Pokemon games, he's a star of the anime, he's a star of the franchise. Pikachu not just like fits the mold, he basically made the mold. Like, that's Pikachu in a nutshell, is out of 800 freaking characters, he's the most iconic, and that says a lot. Pikachu's done super, super well. A lot of his moves are based off of moves he can actually learn in Pokemon, and some moves are other moves that he doesn't learn in Pokemon, but it makes sense for him to have anyways. A lot of electric moves. He's an interesting character to play as too, which is really, really cool. I think it'd be really cool if they did a few more things too, like maybe, I don't know if they do, like Iron Tail or something. Maybe Swift. I don't know if Pikachu can learn Swift in the games, but to be honest, like, he's got Headbutt, he's got other things. They did a pretty good job, and they've updated him kind of a little bit. His Final Smash, I think, is based off of a real Pokemon move. I think it's Volt Tackle. I'm not 100% sure on that. Feel free to correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure it's Volt Tackle. There's not much else I can think of. I haven't played the newer Pokemon games, so I don't know what other kind of crazy big electric moves there are. So maybe Volt Tackle's the best one, but when I was a young one, and it was just Pokemon Red and Blue, the best electric move was just straight up Thunder. So Volt Tackle's probably just a more interesting one to use, so yeah, go ahead and use it. Number 9, Luigi. Alright, first character that is representing a franchise that is already represented. And I think keep him. Luigi is, in my opinion, a no-brainer. He's one of the best secondary characters in any video game series. And I like how they've made him not a clone character, because let's be honest, in Smash 64 and for the most part in Smash Melee, he was a clone of Mario. He had a couple different things, but he was basically just Mario. And they've moved him away from being Mario, but at the same time they've moved him in a direction that I don't know if I like or not. I love Luigi. I think he's a cool character. I like how he's more down to earth than Mario is. I like that he's more frightened, and I'd say he's probably a little bit more humble than Mario is. But in Smash Brothers, he's just friggin' weird. He's super weird. What is with his taunt where he just kind of like planks, and then he has this other one where it's a bunch of single frame animations, and I don't get it. I don't know what green missile's from. It's not from anything. Luigi Tornado, or Luigi Cyclone, sorry, is just a modified version of the Mario Tornado, which they took out, by the way, because it didn't make sense for his character. The only thing that Luigi has that makes him Luigi is the green fireball and the super jump punch, which, like I would say with Mario, changed the super jump punch so that he, like, stomp on enemies. But other than that, he's not very Luigi-esque. Finally, they added the Poltergust for his grab and his final smash, but his Poltergust should be in more things. Maybe he should be representing the crazier powers of the Mario series. Maybe he should be the one with the Tanuki statue, or maybe he's the one who should be using, like, I don't know, maybe one of his moves is the frog suit, or I don't know, I'm not against making him wacky, but if you're gonna make him wacky representing Super Mario. I don't know, I just find it really weird how non-Mario he is. He's a super fun character to use, but it's weird how not based on his, like, actual source he is. That being said, obviously still keep him. I would want to make him as different from Mario as possible, if that makes any sense. Number 10, Ness from Earthbound. Let the hate comments flow, but I would actually cut Ness. And it's not because he's not a cool character. Earthbound is a series that only has 3 games, and up until a couple years ago, only one of which had come out in North America. The other one, Earthbound Beginnings, or just Mother 1, has come out here now, but Mother 3 still hasn't. But I don't think Ness should be there, I guess. Earthbound, having only 3 series, it's weird that just the second one is the one where they take a character and make him a fighter in a fighting game. I kind of get why they don't do Ninten, because I mean, like, they never did anything else with him, and it's just kind of a game that didn't really take off. But I don't know, I honestly think Lucas should be the character. You know, sorry to jump ahead to Brawl there, but Lucas is the character that should represent Earthbound, because that Mother 3 is more representative to Earthbound to me than actual Earthbound is. And I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with me on that, and that makes sense. I mean, for most people, the representation of Earthbound is the Earthbound game that came out to North America. But that's just North America and Europe. But, like, it's gotten to a point now where everyone knows about Mother 3, and everyone knows about Lucas. It's not this weird, unknown thing like it used to be. So, to represent that series, I really think that the character from the newest game should represent that series. Sorry, I know it sucks to cut Ness, but I mean, cutting characters is not supposed to be easy, and I'm gonna have to make hard cuts, and they're going to be people's favorite characters. But you have to cut people. And I know it's another thing, like, you can't cut a character from the first roster of Smash Brothers. Well, yes, I can. It's my list. It's also filled with my stupid rules. But the whole point of this is that the idea is this theoretical game is a reboot of Smash. To completely go and see, like, what needs to be there and what could be cut. And I honestly think Ness could be cut. I'm sorry, but it's true. Number 11, Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon's a hard one for me because I want to keep him, obviously. I think F-Zero deserves to be represented. But the last F-Zero game came out over 14 years ago. And unless Nintendo is going to make a new F-Zero game, Captain Falcon's only known because of Smash Brothers. That's not good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and say keep him, because I'd like to think in this theoretical future where the next Smash Brothers game is coming out, there's an F-Zero game somewhere. So I'm going to say keep Falcon, and I actually think keep the way he was designed. I think he's such a well-done designed character, similar to Fox, in the sense that you never get to see this character outside of his friggin' Blue Falcon race car guy thing. And what they did with him made a lot of sense. I mean, the Falcon punch is so iconic that they put it in the anime. And I'm fairly certain the anime came out later, so good job for making such an iconic character from a not really iconic franchise. But again, I think the whole thing about Captain Falcon is if you're going to reboot Smash and take out characters that don't need to be in the game anymore, a character from a game that's over 14 years old, I won't cut it. You know what I mean? So I'm still going to say keep them, just for the sake of this. But they need to make a new F-Zero game if they're going to keep Captain Falcon in there. And last one, number 12, Jigglypuff. Another character, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut him. Or her, or whatever, it. Because Jigglypuff is like the joke character of N64 Smash. She's super iconic now because of Smash, and like is a really interesting playstyle. But I know that in Japan, I guess Jigglypuff, or Purin, I guess as she's known in Japan, was supposed to be the mascot, but then Pikachu just sort of took off. So when Smash Bros. First came out, Pokemon was still, I'd say, relatively new, so it made sense to put Purin in there as a callback to that. But other than that, what is Jigglypuff known for? Nothing at all other than Smash. Maybe being a silly running joke for the first couple seasons of the Pokemon anime. Other than that, nothing. He's just a weird joke character who's super light and super odd. I don't think Jigglypuff should come back if they were to cut a large portion of the roster. So there we go. That is 2, maybe 3 cuts depending on how F-Zero goes. So the whole goal on this, by the way, is to maybe cut the roster down to, I'd say, we're going to try for 30 characters. And that's going to be tough to do because, I mean, I already just chose 10 characters to continue on. So we're probably going to have to up that up to maybe 40 characters. I don't know. But my goal is to make a smaller roster that still represents Nintendo and video gaming. By the way, if you disagree with these, that's super okay. I mean, this is me picking reasons out of my ass while I'm near a microphone. So if you think differently, and if you think, like, shit, I think Mario should be cut, freaking tell me in the comments. I'm not opposed to people disagreeing with my ideas and my cuts and that type of things. Just to be respectful in the comments to each other, and tell me in the comments below who you would cut from Smash Brothers for the N64. And next time we'll see who we're going to cut and who we're going to keep in Smash Brothers Melee. Take care, guys.